As the largest country in East Africa, from waterfalls to beaches, safaris to mountains, and ancient history to modern colonies, Tanzania has something to offer for all travelers. Tanzania is home to some of Africa's most famous national parks and natural attractions, including majestic Mount Kilimanjaro. Some spots like Mount Kilimanjaro and the Serengeti National Park are world famous. However, some of the lesser-known destinations, including conservation areas, lakes, and mountains, are certainly still worth a visit. Elephants and leopards come face-to-face in its hinterlands. African wild dogs prowl under the shade of bulbous baobab trees. Christians and Muslims share the cities, and there are even relics of voodoo-practicing shamans on the far-flung quays. But with all of these options to choose from, where are the best places to visit to make most of your holiday trip? Here, in this video, we are going to discover Tanzania, the Safari Kingdom. Tanzania, officially the United Republic of Tanzania, is a country in East Africa within the African Great Lakes region. It borders Uganda to the north, Kenya to the northeast, the Indian Ocean to the east. Tanzania is the revered promised land at the end of the Great Rift Valley, a colossal cutout of East Africa that's really not like anywhere else in the region. So let's start with the famous Mount Kilimanjaro in the north. Mount Kilimanjaro is Africa's highest peak and Tanzania's most iconic image. Mount Kilimanjaro National Park, unlike other parks in northern Tanzania, is not visited for the wildlife, but for the chance to stand in awe of this beautiful snow-capped mountain, and, for many, to climb to the summit. Mount Kilimanjaro can be climbed at any time, although the best period is from late June to October, during the dry season. The mountain rises from farmland on the lower level to rainforest and alpine meadow, and then barren lunar landscape at the peaks. The slopes of the rainforest are home to buffaloes, leopards, monkeys, elephants, and eland. The alpine zone is where birdwatchers will find an abundance of birds of prey. The next one is Serengeti National Park. Serengeti is one of the best places for a safari in Tanzania, and possibly the world. Here you'll have the opportunity to see many of the world's incredible species in their natural habitat, including the lions, rhinos, elephant, leopard, and buffalo. Serengeti will prove to be the best place to photograph animals whilst on safari. Whether you are watching an elephant herd on patrol or a lion going in for the kill, the plains of the Serengeti will never cease to amaze. What about Stone Town? Off the coast of Tanzania is the island of Zanzibar, whose main city is known as Stone Town. In Stone Town, you'll experience a completely different side to Tanzania. Stone Town is a melting pot of Swahili, Arab, and Persian cultures. Many of the town's buildings were constructed during the 19th century, when Zanzibar was a major trading center and at the height of its power. The trade created wealth, which in turn led to the construction of palaces, mosques, and many fine houses. On your visit, you can check out the 17th century fortress as well as the many architectural gems hidden along the maze of narrow streets that wind through Stone Town. And here comes undiscovered Pemba Island. Pemba Island sits out into the swells of the Indian Ocean, picking up on the tropical beauty front where the white beaches of the Swahili coast left off on mainland Tanzania. A part of the same island chain as impossibly beautiful Zanzibar, the spot comes imbued with some of East Africa's most colorful coral gardens, each teeming with a kaleidoscope of marine life. However, leave the diving shows of the coast behind for a moment and go in search of Pemba's curious past of voodoo witchcraft and medieval Ndukwu ruins, and you're sure not to leave disappointed. If you love diving, then the next place is for you. Mafia Island draws divers and snorkelers from around the world to the undersea, world protected by the Mafia Island Marina Park. The gorgeous Mafia Island Marina Park has corral gardens, an abundant variety of fish, and a relaxed diving atmosphere. Countless birds and over 400 species of fish can be seen in the area. Mafia Island is also a traditional breeding site for the green turtle, which is unfortunately endangered. Mafia is also a desirable location for deep-sea fishing, especially tuna, marlin, sailfish, and other big-game fish. The best months for diving are October to March, but the best weather on Mafia Island is May to October. March and April are months of heavy rain. Last but not the least is the Ngorongoro Conservation Area. Located between the Serengeti and Lake Manyara, the Ngorongoro Conservation Area is home to the famous volcanic Ngorongoro crater and is one of Tanzania's most popular wildlife viewing areas. This huge volcanic crater has a permanent supply of water, which draws thousands of animals who stay in this area rather than migrating. Visitors come here primarily for viewing large animals and bird watching. Thousands of animals can be seen on the crater floor, including lions, elephants, rhinos, Thompson's gazelles, and buffaloes. But wildebeests and zebras account for over half of the animals that call the Ngorongoro crater home. The Ngorongoro crater is the largest intact ancient caldera in the world, nearly 3 million years old. The Ngorongoro volcano was one of the world's tallest mountains before it exploded and collapsed, and that wraps up today's content. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.